Wisconsin really just can't catch a break these days. After the Kenosha shootings and the Kenosha riots, with them having a lot of political problems, and now can add something more to their plate, which is a deadly event that happened at a Christmas parade today as of this recording. Yeah, they're struck with the Kenosha curse. You're right, they do have the Kenosha curse on them. They have to pay their crimes to the Kenosha god, be free from the Kenosha curse. What happened is that a car drove into a Christmas parade. It sped right through a Christmas parade that was happening. These cute people were busy loving their Christmas. They're playing their drums and stuff. It was great. And some person just drove right through them, killing 5 people and injuring 48. There are people who said that they have an entire families who are in the hospital at the moment. We're suffering with the loss of a lot of family members. And he didn't just drive through one set of archers. He hit some, and then it was like a hit and run, and then he hit some more. The police say that he was fleeing another crime scene that he was a part of. And that's why he was driving so erratically, decided to take this turn through their parade and hit people. Authorities in Wisconsin identified the driver of a red SUV who they say intentionally drove his SUV through barricades and into a crowd celebrating do I pronounce this Waukesha? Waukesha, right?
Kesha.
Cute. On the Christmas parade, Daryl E. Brooks, 40-year-old man pulling shit like this, believed to have acted alone on Sunday and is the only suspect. Waukesha police said on Monday. Brooks faces 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide with an additional charges based on the investigation. Brooks had been released from jail less than 2 weeks ago in a domestic abuse case on a $1,000 bail. Prosecutors say they now say is inappropriately low. See, here's the thing, this guy isn't his first crime. He has a rap sheet going all the way back to 1999. So he's been constantly committing crimes for decades now. Wisconsin does have an interesting bail system, right? But you can be held without bail. They just decided not to for this guy. Apparently they didn't think that he was too much of a threat, but that's more on the legal system than anyone else really. Thompson said Brooks was involved in a domestic disturbance with another person just prior to just driving his SUV through the parade on Sunday afternoon. Police were not able to respond to the initial call of the domestic dispute incident since they were at the parade. This is the guy. This is the guy who did it. Bad guy. This is a bad man right here. This is a bad dude. They're still looking for a motive specifically, but what the cops have said at the moment is that he was fleeing a crime scene, and so he decided to take this cut that parade and just to try to escape. At least 18 children were hospitalized after the parade. That's so sad. Here's a really important part. Thompson said, and this is the police chief, the incident was not a terrorist event, and the crash does not appear to be connected to the recent verdict, the Kyle Rittenhouse, Kenosha, Wisconsin case, according to multiple law enforcement sources familiar with the preliminary investigation findings. So that's what they have at the moment. All crime is always repeat without serious therapy. He's a little wacky. Never recover from mental trauma like that. Oh yeah, having 50 people be run down in a car while you're just doing something as I can't think of anything less offensive than just a cute little Christmas parade in a small town in Wisconsin. With that being said, good friends on the right cannot let a good tragedy go to waste when they can use it for political gain. This takes us to the subjects of today's video, which is Tim Pool, Andy Ngo, and other right-wing accounts who decided to use this for their own political gain. And you wonder, how could this possibly be used for a political gain? What's happening? Than just some random crime event by some, repeat criminal ever be used as political fodder, right? Andy Ngo. I figured out about this because I woke up this morning and there were a bunch of random freaking people, 2 or 3 people, which is, saying the same thing from outside sources, just coming in and being well, yeah, when are you gonna comment on what happened in Wisconsin? What are you talking about? I did, because rarely people have come to me and asked if I'm going to report on some random event, some random shooting. Rarely does that happen, especially in my YouTube comment section. They were well, it was a BLM terrorist attack. They said it was a BLM terrorist attack. I can't wait for you to make a video disavowing this BLM terrorist, which is just So fucking weird. Came out of literally nowhere. Basically, let me walk you through this a little bit, because this person put together a really interesting thread. You're seeing the lunacy about a person of interest who was detained in Waukesha. Here's a brief window into how the right-wing disinfo machine works. Here's this, put out by Carol. And confirm I have his birthday and the man is in custody. No then digs up a Facebook page allegedly belonging to the person of interest and posts some screenshots, but not before adding his own editorial slant. And we're going to put editorial slant in massive quotation marks, which at best could be described as inflammatory, if not outright false, designed to the attention of the online right. On Facebook, the person of interest allegedly posted some anti-Semitic dreck, a cartoon about police brutality, and a photo of the mural of George Floyd. The latter two were enough for Andy Ngo to say he supported BLM causes. Nowhere did he find anything directly linking the person of interest to BLM. And this is the Ngo tweet. And is in custody over the mass casualty event at Waukesha Christmas parade. He has posted on social media in support of BLM causes, George Floyd, black nationalism. He has a post about how to get away with running people over the street. So really super weird, right? Like literally out of nowhere, this person has apparently, or what Andy Ngo believes is apparently supporting BLM causes. Now it's tied to BLM. Apparently this is an important piece of information while talking about this, I guess. Seems quite damning. Oh, here's the really crazy part, okay? He posted something about teaching people how to run over people. He had posted a quote in 2016 on a now deactivated Facebook account: "Run them over, keep traffic flowing, and don't slow down for any of these idiots." That's pretty crazy, right? But he lied. Here's the post in question, which was this guy responding to it. So they found this like meme or whatever of this cop who was later fired for putting out this Facebook post that basically told random people to run over BLM protesters, kill them, flee the scene of the crime, and then lie to police and say it was the BLM protesters' fault. He was actually advocating for people to murder BLM protesters. This guy said, "Y'all still putting police in the mix? Stupid." And then he says a word, which is curious because he went on to like run over people, but not calling the kettle black, I guess. A POV, least racist cop. This is him actually disavowing running over people, saying that this was apparently linked to him wanting to run over people 24/7 is also really weird. It just puts into context how these people lie. He knows reporting, if it can even be called reporting, is simply garbage. It's like him. And Tim Pool made a video earlier today. Police refuse to rule out terror attack and Waukesha attacks.
Story out of Waukesha the other day, and I didn't comment that much about it on Twitter, and I think it would be wise for most people not to. There is something that some people refer to as the 24-hour rule. That means when there's a tragic event, you gotta wait to figure out what happened.
So he's like, man, people probably shouldn't talk about this too much. Anyways, here's my 24-minute video where I give you my my details and opinions about what happened, and say they refuse to say it was a terrorist attack. He is a BLM supporter. It's just so curious they would say something like that, because Waukesha parade, Darrell Brooks charged with intentional homicide as cops rule out terror attack. Man, bud, Tim Pool, you really be putting out the best content, don't you? I'm so glad that this guy was a journalist. I'm so glad that this guy is one of our premier journalists in the United States. He really is doing the Lord's work, isn't he? Truly doing the Lord's work. Oh, sick. He can't read? You're right, he can't read. I'm sorry. They never said it was a terrorist attack. They never pointed it to being a terrorist attack. And once again, he even says that you should wait 24 hours before commenting on something. He didn't, and then tried to say that they're ruling out a terrorist attack. And literally hours after he makes his video, many, like the major news sites, are saying that he didn't, they're ruling out terrorist attack. While he was making his video, the police were saying that they ruled out a terrorist attack. So he's just what we call in the business a dumb fuck. So this is what they do: lie about everything. They'll use this as their own ploy. And it's really interesting how fast this shit goes on, because out of nowhere, in a single day, less than 24 hours, while people are still mourning the loss of their loved ones, they've decided to try to make this into some sort of like massive political stunt. And this was simply just a criminal fleeing from a crime scene and deciding to run over people on his way out. This had nothing to do with, I don't think, any politics whatsoever. But you're going to be seeing this a lot more in the future when it comes to right wingers, right? They've already been doing it, but you're going to see it tick up a lot, because as they're right wingers, they don't really have martyrs. They don't really have victims. They don't really have people who are actually done wrong by the system, because a lot of their thoughts, beliefs, and views actually coincide with the system that we have today. So they're not harmed. Instead of that, they have to make their own harm. They have to make their own martyrs. They have to make their own problems. They did the same thing with like Ashley Babbitt, the person who literally ran into the Capitol, had like guns pointed on her, and decided to hop through a window and attempt to capture sitting House members, the House of Representatives, in an effort to stop them from certifying the votes to make sure that Donald Trump is like crowned the God King Emperor of the universe. With that being said, and how far they ran with that, and even Donald Trump giving her a happy birthday and consoling her family after he was the one whose rhetoric led her to basically kill herself by cop. They're trying to make them martyrs, trying to make their own issues. And so by doing that, they're going to have to lie. And this is what you're going to be seeing coming into the future. So I want you to be up to date on it, because they will lie. They'll make up stories. They'll try and throw shit together to make it seem like things are way worse for them than it actually is, because they have no real opposition but themselves. They're their own worst enemy. And here's the thing. Can we put this together for a second? Why would someone who's doing a BLM terrorist attack drive through a Christmas parade? What's there for them? Why? BLM, the group that supports like police change, political change, black people. Why? What sense does that make? Because communism? Is this the war on Christmas? Apparently black people hate Christmas. Yeah, the CEO of BLM is the Grinch. You're right. And her heart shrunk 3 sizes that day. If they utter war on Christmas, I'm gonna shit. Yeah, listen, okay, I hope you're close to your nearest Walmart bathroom. So yeah, I think what they're going to do, more likely than not, is they're going to wrap up every single like anti-left-wing trope that they could possibly muster and then throw it at the wall here. Because in any other way, shape, or form, this makes literally no fucking sense. And just so you know, there are like millions of people across this country who would fall into the same category as this person and the stuff that they posted. If you guys remember, like back in 2020, if you guys were active on social media, either that be like Twitter or Instagram or even Snapchat. I know Instagram specifically, my entire feed was full of people who changed their profile picture to black in solidarity with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and other like people who were killed in like police shootings or like misconduct. It happened a lot, and a lot of people posted pro BLM stuff. Like BLM, the idea isn't something that's insane that like a small group of people believe. It's like way bigger than a lot of conservatives want to pretend that it is. I'm sorry, just your average person who's like anywhere near politically active at all online has probably posted something in support of BLM, because they're probably not racist. Now people like Andy Ngo and Tim Pool have never posted something in support of BLM. You know, we can wonder for, you know, years even why that may be the case. But, you know, they haven't. So they think that the only other people that do are apparently radical communist, fascist, Marxist, white people haters, I guess. I march in support of BLM. You are a terrorist. Congratulations. Connection is about as solid as a wet Kleenex. I think it's even worse than that. I think it's completely non-existent. Since the police completely ruled out it being a terrorist attack, wet Kleenex has broken. They have no connection. So moving into the future, if they connect this BLM to this, it is just complete lies. At the very least, before that happened, it was speculation. Now it's just a lie. It's just a lie. That's not something that I would think is out of the ordinary for conservatives. They just lie. That's just what they do. They lie as easily as they breathe. They do it all the time, and they parrot talking points that they find. It's just what they do. This isn't surprising to me, but this is what we have now. So just be wary. Be cognizant of the lies that are going to be around. Remember, it has literally nothing to do with BLM. It has more to do with a person who's been committing crimes since 1999, committing more crimes and just killing people this time. Yeah, the war on Christmas thing has been going on for a really long time. They just, I don't know, just pretend. Oh, they did celebrations early? Oh, yeah, because it is going to get pretty cold. It is Wisconsin. I can imagine they wanted to, you know, have people be able to march without Wisconsin literally being covered in a entire sheet of ice. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty sure like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, it just freeze. That's what I imagine what happens in the wintertime, okay? Like I'm not joking to you. Like when the winter comes, you ever see those videos of those frogs that can just freeze? That's what I imagine, like those people up there in the Rust Belt. That's like how they live. The winter comes and all of them just like freeze in place until spring comes and thaws them out, and then they continue till like the next winter comes. That's what I imagine happened. Anybody who's lived up north can tell you, because I've lived in New York for a decent amount of time, and it gets what we call disrespectfully cold.